What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel Everyday Guide. Today we're going to be talking about a pants setup. Man, this is hard to show. That I use quite often. I've actually used it like 4 times in the past 2 weeks. And one morning at I think 2:30, Michelle said, you should make a video of that pants because you use it quite a bit. So this is a pants I keep next to my bed. In the configuration I'm going to show you today for instances when there are noises and things outside our house that I want to go check on. We've all experienced that you hear your car alarm go off, or there's noise by the bins outside and you want to go check what it is. So now you wake up in the morning and you're groggy and you must put on your belt and then put on your holster and then put on a pants, and it's a bit of a schlep, so you end up just not using it. This setup is to negate that. I wanted something that in the mornings or whenever, if I hear something in the night, that I have the time to go out and have a look. Guys, I'm not going out in my briefs. Okay, I'm going to put on a pants anyway. If I have the time to put on a pants, I'm going to be able to put on something that has sufficient kit in it for me to be able to deal with most circumstances. This is not like a Rambo kit type situation. So I'm going to explain to you what's in this pants and why it's in this pants. On this pants. But before that, guys, I have to say huge thanks to Tyron Nat, Terence Drake, Sheldon Locke, Travis House, Ruan Botha, Chandre, Louis, Riley Etienne, Divan, Ashley Watkins, Robert Van Onslin, and Nawaz Ali, who have become patrons. Guys, if you are a patron, you are automatically entered into a monthly giveaway for one of these EDC ready packs, obviously gear not included. One of these EDC ready packs, which is basically, like I said, the best way to carry a trauma kit, in my opinion. But I am also going to be doing special giveaways, like on my birthday or like every 6 months, or when I reach a certain Patreon level, where I'm going to be giving away this knife. This is a knife I designed and was customized by Ultimate Edges. I'm also going to be giving away one of my prototype knives. This is N690 blade steel. And then the guys from CTEC have gotten involved and said I can give away one of their speed reloaders. Going to be giving away flashlights as well as Ace Beam stuff. So if you aren't a Patreon, the link is down below. If you're watching on YouTube, it's in the video description. If you're watching on Facebook, it's the first comment. If you're watching on Instagram, it's the first comment. Please go and become a Patreon. You really help support the channel and make this all possible. And I will be giving away things monthly to you guys. You will definitely win something if you are a patron. Okay, let's get into this pants. So guys, the pants itself is an Urban Warrior Infiltrator pants. And in the left side pocket, in one of the sleeves, I keep the Sperris EST. This is a flashlight I reviewed quite recently. It's quite inexpensive, but does push out 1900 lumens. The reason I started carrying this light as opposed to my previous light that I was carrying is I do like the option for direct strobe on the tail switch. So if I do need to go from searching to defensive, I can do that quite quickly. And it's not going to displace my cloud defensive MCH that I carry as my EDC, but it is a very functional, very capable flashlight. And I'm only pretty much using this pants and this kit during the evening, so it's vital to have a flashlight. In the sleeve pocket next to that, I keep some pepper spray. Pepper spray is really useful, especially if you're going to be using it on a pants like this, because you might go out and that thing that sounded like footsteps or whatever that you thought was a piece of paper could be like, you know, an old homeless dude who's decided he's going to sleep in front of your house, whatever the case may be, and you want to move him along and he becomes a bit confrontational or whatever the case may be. Having pepper spray provides you with a valuable, less lethal option for situations like that, because you can't always use your firearm on a drunk who's in front of your house who might be causing better problems and you just want him to move along. Pepper spray is a really good non-lethal force multiplier, and I highly recommend, if you are going to develop your own system like this, it's important to have some kind of less lethal option that isn't an impact tool. Impact tool can very quickly become lethal. Then in the biggest sleeve pocket behind those 2 front sleeves, I keep some Salox Rapid. Salox is, in my opinion, the best hemostatic agent. There's a hemostatic gauze, hemo blood static stop. I may switch this out for Salox granules. I am thinking about it, but I do want a degree of medical in case things do go down, in case someone who comes knocking at my door was injured or stabbed or shot, whatever the case may be, and they got to the first door that they could find and it's mine. If I'm going to put this pants on and go out, I do want some kind of ability to provide some medical care to myself or to someone else. And then in the cell phone pocket of the pants, what would be the cell phone pocket of the pants, I keep a tourniquet in a Fieldcraft Survival tourniquet holder. This is one of the Global Phalanx tourniquets. They are on my website. This Fieldcraft Survival tourniquet holder is also on my website. I keep it with the holder face towards me because when I just kept the tourniquet in the pocket, like the hook side of the Velcro would like cause itchiness on my leg because it very easily like goes through the pants kind of thing. And so I put this in a tourniquet holder and I face it towards me so there are no sharp itchiness facing towards my leg. And then in the right side enclosed cargo pocket, I'm going to keep an Israeli bandage, an emergency bandage, a compression bandage, pretty much all the same thing. And that is just an extension of the medical that I have in there. I have the cargo pocket. I might as well put it in there. If I'm going to be using one of those two things you just saw, I'm more than likely going to need some kind of compression bandage as well. So there's no harm in having it. And also a pair of gloves. Now, generally, if I'm doing things on someone I love or myself, the gloves aren't that important. But you go outside and it's a homeless dude who's been stabbed. You might want to glove up, right? So that's why I keep these in there for that sort of situation. Holster wise, I run one of these Bravo concealment holsters for a Glock 19 and Surefire X300 because that's the setup I run most often. It's on these paddle type things because I find they are easy to move around but don't move around on their own, right? And this is an outside the waistband setup, so it's not going to be really that concealable, but you got to remember you're going out, it's the dead of night. Chances are people are not going to even pay attention to this bulge sticking out. If it's during the day, I'm generally wearing an appendix holster. The reason I don't have an inside the waistband holster on this belt setup is I found that having inside the waistband holster makes the pants hard to put on. It moves around, it gets jammed up in places, it sometimes flips over, so it's much better to run outside the waistband holster because it stays in place and you pull the pants up. And I can pull this pants up without loosening the belt. Now, the belt I run is a Core Essentials belt. And what's cool about it, it's not this particular one, but I just want to show you. So I keep it on the last setting, right? And I can literally put that pants on without loosening the belt. I can like get into the pants like a fireman would when they like have to respond to an emergency. So I just slide the pants over with the belt on and then just tighten it down accordingly. So Core Essential belts are really cool for doing that. If it's really, really dark, which it would be at night, and you groggy and things like that, sometimes finding this situation perfectly becomes a bit of a slip. But if you can just keep it sort of on its last loop, let's say that's its last loop, put the pants on as if you're putting on a track pants and then just tighten everything down, you're good to go. So guys, I'm not sure what to call this setup, but like I said, I've used it like 4 times in the last 2 weeks. Twice to check on our gates, once to check on our bins, because the people who collect our bins do so on a Monday, but sometimes they come after the person who cleans the complex leaves. So then the bins stand outside all night. So sometimes people scratch around there. And once because, you know, those people who deliver like ShopRite and Checkers specials, and that paper sometimes is blown out of your post box and it makes a noise in front of your house which sounds like footsteps. That is exactly what it was. And we're talking like between 1 and 4 in the morning, so it's dark outside, and that's when Michelle said I should review this pants because I use it quite often. And maybe it's something you want to consider setting up for yourself, because if you do have the time to go and check what's causing that bump in the night, you want to be sufficiently equipped. And I found when I didn't have this pants, I would wake up and I'd have to scratch in my cupboard for the pants and then scratch in my cupboard for the belt and then put a holster on. I keep my gun in a holster next to my bed, so all I do is I put this pants on, take the gun out of that holster, put it into the OWB setup that I've got right here. And this is how I EDC my firearm anyway. So we are good to go. I do just want to add there is value to keeping a weapon mounted light on your firearm, and what's cool is that this holster will fit your Glock even if you're running a TLR7, and it'll actually fit it quite nicely. So if I do switch between the two, I can still use the same outside the waistband holster. Guys, thank you for taking time to check out this video. If you are someone who wants in on these prizes, it's going to be a monthly prize starting at the end of November. You will almost certainly win something, guys. Like, eventually your name will definitely get drawn. So please consider joining me on Patreon. That is it, guys. I will see you in the week for a vlog. Have a good week. Be safe. Train hard. Cheers. God bless.